Okie doke, artist. So what you're going to do today is you're going to grab paper, pencil, you're going to grab some sort of circle object that you can trace around on your paper. I got this big old tub that I have some scissors in, and that's what I'm going to use to trace around, all right, the circle part of it. You're also going to want to grab some paint if you have it. Now you only need these three colors, red, yellow, and blue. Remember, those are our primary colors. So if you don't have paint, guess what? You can just use markers, or you can use crayons or colored pencils, whatever you have. Now I still want you to follow along because we're going to talk about color mixing our primary colors to get to our secondary colors, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and place this off to the side for just a moment so I can take my circle object. Now maybe you have something like a bowl, or maybe you can use some other circle object you have. I'm gonna go ahead and use this guy, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace around the base, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead, start up here, hold it nice in place. As I take my pencil, whoops, and I hit a little curve, that's okay. I'm gonna go all the way around until I have a completed circle, and it's okay. You can see on mine there's a couple spots that got a little bit jagged. No worries. I can erase those and fix them, or guess what? We'll be cutting these out at a later point, so no big deal. Okay, time to zoom in. So on this circle that I have right here, we've got to fill it with gumballs, right? Which are more circles. So we're creating repetition through circles. So here's the deal. Again, I'm going to show you with paint today. If you don't have paint, you can just use markers, crayons, colored pencils, whatever you have. We're going to begin first though by using the color red. Okay, so I want you to go ahead with your red, and I want you to fill in some circles. Now make sure you spread them out, right, all across your paper. And it depends on what size you want to make them. I realize these ones are kind of small I'm making, so maybe I'll make them a little bit bigger. You can see I'm going to the edge on some. Okay, so check it out. I didn't fill up my entire paper with the red, right? I just filled in some certain spots. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and wash my brush out. Again, if you're not using paint, or maybe you're using watercolors, you could use that too. But go ahead and make sure you wash out your brush before you switch to another color. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go to yellow. Yellow is my second primary color. And I'm going to do pretty much what I just did. I'm going to fill in with circles. Now, I'm going to fill them in spots near the red, but what I can also do is have it touch my red. So see how this one right here actually touches. We're going to talk about overlapping, all right, as we start to fill up our gumball machines with even more gumballs. Now, if you accidentally go over a little bit outside the circle, don't worry. Remember, we are going to be cutting these out at a later point. But just make sure you're filling in and you're not covering all your paper, because we still have 4 more colors to go. But once you've decided you have enough yellow, go ahead and wash out your brush and switch to our last primary color of blue. You might be using maybe markers. You don't need to wash out your brush. Switch to your blue. Same thing. Okie doke. Once you're filled in with blue, wash it out. Here comes the fun part. Now we're going to mix our primary colors together to get our secondary colors. Okay, so I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna make orange. I'm gonna make orange by mixing together my red and my yellow. Here's the trick. Grab a good chunk of yellow, okay? And just grab a little bit of red, not too much. And as you start to mix in a lot of yellow and a little bit of red, you get a beautiful orange. This is the first of our secondary colors by mixing together red and yellow. So go ahead now, take your orange, and again, if you're working with marker or crayon, just grab your orange color and fill in some circles with your orange. Okie doke. Once you have enough orange, it's time to mix our next primary color. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna mix green this time, so we're gonna take quite a bit of yellow, okay, and then just a little bit of blue. And as you mix green and you mix blue, you get a beautiful green. So friends, once again, start to fill in with some green circles. Once you've mixed it all the way, start to fill in on your paper with green. So we can see now that several of my areas are touching and maybe slightly going on top of each other. We call that overlapping. So in my artwork here with my circles for my gumballs, I'm showing repetition because I'm repeating, right, the same shape over and over and over again. But I'm also showing overlapping by having them sometimes go on top of each other. Alrighty, time to mix our last secondary color. And we only have two colors from our primary colors that we haven't mixed yet. So here's what we're gonna do. Go ahead. Okay, grab some red and grab some blue. Start to mix them together. Now it might be a little hard to see here on my document camera because it's a little dark. But you're going to mix until you get purple. Maybe it'll show up a little bit better on my paper for you guys. But go ahead and mix until you get purple and then fill in with your last secondary color. Find some gaps where you could use some more gumballs. Okie doke, friends. Once you have gotten to a point where you really don't have a whole lot of space, all right, maybe you can't really find any more spots. I mean, I still have some white, but this is a pretty full gumball machine. So I would go ahead and say that wrap up a couple spots, and then you're gonna go ahead and let your paper dry, or if you used your marker, that's okay. You'll just set it off to the side, make sure it's in a safe spot, and then we will carry on with our gumball machines for next week. So this is all you're doing for this week, and I'll see you next time. Bye, artists!